welcome to another review. Yahoo! Not a screener today. I actually watched a film that I wasn't required to watch, and it's from 2020. Hooray! Yeah, this film, The Wishmas Tree, that I am reviewing today, actually came out in February, but I had it on my list of films that I wanted to see, but I don't actually ever think it ended up coming out at my cinema. I think it had a very limited release. I don't think it was even in cinemas for very long, but I don't think they ever showed it in mine because it seemed to be like it was on my list. I was like, yeah, I want to see that film. And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, it's gone. What? I didn't even know it was there. What happened? So I was kind of like keeping tabs on it, like, when is this gonna come out on DVD? And I saw it was like months away. I'm like, oh damn. But luckily, it's weird saying that, but luckily, because of everything going on with COVID-19 and movies not being able to go about their usual schedules and how they usually operate, a lot of things are being released on video on demand and streaming websites a lot faster. So I was actually able to get access to the Wishmas Tree a lot earlier than I was meant to, and I'm just like, yay! But then I watched it and I'm like, ooh. So sad state of affairs, but it's true. So let's just hop into the review. Oh good god. The Wishmas Tree is a 2020 Australian animated film directed by Ricard Cuso and written by Peter Ivan and Ryan Greaves. It centers around a young possum's misguided wish for a white wishmas that freezes over her entire hometown of Sanctuary City and threatens all who live there. Try and say white wishmas 10 times fast. I bet you can't. The last time I saw an Australian animated film was Happy Feet, and that was only half Australian. So I was really eager to watch this, and honestly, I was super disappointed. More honestly, I fell asleep halfway into it, so it took longer than necessary to watch it. I love animated films. I love how they appeal to children and adults, and adults can bring out their inner child or tackle grown-up issues or both. Watching this film, despite it being rated PG, I didn't see it having any appeal to any audience member over the age of 4 or 5. If I think about my nieces, I can see my 3-year-old niece loving this because she still loves watching all those ABC kids shows you stick your toddler in front of the TV to watch, whereas my 6-year-old niece would be so bored by this film. She gravitates to things that are a bit more grown up or things that challenge her and teach her something and really nurture her thirst to learn, and this would not do any of that for her. She would call this too kiddie and she wouldn't be wrong. I mean, there's even a Peppa Pig Easter egg in this film, so I think that really says who the audience is, which makes me wonder, why do a PG film that won't appeal to a PG audience and only a G one, but like negative G? I said back when I reviewed Abominable that it's hard for me to look at any animated film and say the animation is bad, and yet I didn't love the animation in this film. I love the style they were going for, but I feel they gave details to the background and scenery but didn't give finer details to the characters, so all the characters felt one-dimensional in terms of appearance. I would have liked to see more of the quirks of their personalities in the character illustrations, and I felt they didn't do that. They gave Kerry wristbands and Yara a stick, that's really it. Petra had nothing at all. I feel like the best parts of the animation were in the depiction of the Wishmas Tree. It looked magical and ethereal and was beautiful to look at, which is a relief because you'd hope the thing the film is named after would stand out, and it did. Whenever we were looking at the Wishmas Tree and the style of it and the colour and the seeds, so much about it, and this film felt like a watered down version of Fern Gully. The animation felt a little stagnant, reminded me a bit of the animated French-Canadian film from 2017 called Sahara. These two were very similar in style. I will post a link to my written review of that film in the description box because I never did a video version, but if you would like me to do a video version, comment below and let me know. One of the reasons I feel this is built for the super young audience is because it literally bangs you over the head and spoon feeds you the meaning and metaphors of the film. Most animated films like to either be symbolic or border symbology and literalism. This one was smacking it in your face. Within the first 2 minutes, you are literally told that the story you are about to see is about acceptance, tolerance, working together, appreciating each other and everything around us. It even tells you these points several times in the movie just in case it wasn't clear. I like the idea of kids coming to terms with the story and its metaphors on their own or forming their own opinions of them instead of being whacked over the head with Yara's stick being told point blank, this is how it is. But when it comes to the main antagonist of the film, I felt they couldn't decide whether to be literal or metaphorical, and so I spent the entire film debating, is this a real entity or a symbolic one? The character is called Extinction. Like I said, really hits you over the head. It's this thing that came from the sky and wiped out all the animals and then made the remaining animals turn on each other and eat each other for survival. And if you don't love and care for each other, extinction will return. This was also pretty much said in the movie. This antagonist doesn't have a corporeal form, it doesn't speak, it just has a presence and can possess characters, which is why I said it felt like they couldn't figure out whether to be literal or metaphorical. I'm 29 and I couldn't figure this shit out. Thank God all kids have to do is look at it and go, mean, cloud, bad. These things again are reminiscent of Fern Gully. Fern Gully had fairies and animals living together in harmony and trying to save their rainforest from an evil entity called Hexus, which was meant to be the evil born from the pollution caused by humans, and the whole film was a commentary about deforestation done through animation and song, and the Wishmas tree parallels a lot of that, only nowhere near as good. This isn't a musical film and it didn't need to be, but the film's composition was barely existent. There are a lot of moments where characters are present but not talking, so in those scenes the score should be prominent and really enhance the animation, and it didn't do that. Sometimes I wasn't even sure if there was a score at all. It was either not there or super quiet. It's a kids movie. We don't need possums singing and dancing, but give the kids some melodies that really capture their attention, and it just wasn't there. The only thing I hated about this film was the lead character, Carrie. Carrie was a terrible protagonist and not a good role model for children. She caused climate change and almost caused the extinction of her home because she was selfish and cared more about her wants than others. She didn't appreciate anything she was given or anything around her. Literally, she got pissed off that her dad gave her a TV. What the hell, man? She kept wanting and demanding more. Nothing is good enough. Even when things are bad, she doesn't take it seriously. Everything is a joke. She's always trying to be the life of the party. She doesn't take threats or danger seriously. She laughs them off. And even her making friends is annoying because she dictates their names and personalities for them and is just super controlling. And even by the end of the film, her personality hasn't changed or improved at all. I like her older sister Petra, the protective older sister, burdened and having to always look after her bratty younger sister and help her single dad with the parenting. I felt bad for Petra being saddled with a sister like Carrie. Was just not at all likable. As an adult, I didn't enjoy this. My inner child, who is very present at all times, also didn't enjoy this, and I can only see kids under 5 liking this, and that's assuming it keeps their attention, which, considering this movie moves at a snail's pace and has a very bland story, seems very unlikely. I don't hate it. It's a decent little film with a few standout moments in terms of animation, but mostly it was just supremely meh and honestly quite boring, hence why I fell asleep. And honestly, I would not recommend this to my nieces. I would not give this to them to watch. I said this when I reviewed Abominable, that since growing up and watching animated films as an adult, I look at them differently now, but I also can still look at them like my childhood self would. And I also get to look at them from my niece's perspectives and, you know, what would they think of this? And I am pretty much always good at, you know, putting something on for my nieces and knowing which one's gonna like it, which one isn't. The youngest one will usually kind of jump on the bandwagon and act like she likes it because her big sister does. But my oldest niece, she's very blunt, very straightforward. If she doesn't like it, she'll just ignore it. You know, so like when I put on Corpse Bride, my mom was just like, why would you put that on for a kid to watch? I'm like, she's loving it. She's loving it. Because it's fun. It's dark and it's weird and it's quite macabre. Luckily, she doesn't understand the storyline. Well, she didn't at the time. But she was enjoying the songs. She thought the characters looked really weird, so they were kind of interesting to her. So she can get things. And I love watching those two react to films, even little kiddie films. My youngest niece, Lenny, yeah, she might go for this, but she has a really short attention span, so for that reason, I don't see it going well for her. But if you have very young children and they have good attention spans, maybe give this to them to watch. Did I say that right? Give this to them to... Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. I'm so out of practice with talking to the camera and doing reviews. I've like forgotten how to speak, which is weird because it's not like I'm actually, you know, there's nobody here. I'm just talking to myself, really. And yet I'm like, I'm so nervous. What is happening? Has coronavirus driven us all mad? Possibly, although it's not like I'm like, oh my god, I can't handle solitude, bitch. That's my life. 8 years of it. I'm cool. We're cool. It's fine. But if you have, by some chance, seen the Wishmas tree, comment down below. Let me know what you think about it. If you've seen a trailer or you've watched this and then you go check out a trailer, is it something you would watch, or is it something you would introduce your children or nieces or nephews or younger siblings or anything like that? Would you introduce it to someone? Comment down below. Let me know. Sorry, had a hiccup. But thank you so much for watching today's video. Thank you as always to my fabulous patrons. And I'm gonna go jump in front of the fireplace. Even though it's 2 o'clock in the morning, we still have a fire going, and my hands are about to snap off because they're freezing cold because it's like 5 degrees. Yay! So thank you again so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. So until then, bye.